Nai deha bhrutan sakyam tektu karmani asesha jat karma phala tyagi sa tyagi abhijiyate. Yes. It is not possible on the part of embodied person, so to give up activities, work. So one can give up the result of his karma activity. And one who works in Krishna consciousness, in other words, one who works for the pleasure of Krishna under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, he renounces, or he can renounce, he renounces the results of his karma, because he does not do anything for his own benefit, material benefit, material sense gratification, or material benefit. He does everything for the satisfaction of Krishna, pleasure of Krishna. Here it is said that he works in the platform of knowledge, being situated in relationship with Krishna. So he never suffers for his inauspicious work after death, or never gets any reward for his auspicious work after death. In other words, he never gets the reactions of his work, because he has worked in Krishna consciousness, for Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna. As in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Jagnatha karmana natya lokayam karma bandhana. In third chapter, Bhagavad Gita it has been said, if your work will not be done for Jagya, or Jagya Purush. Jagya Purush is Bhagavan Vishnu Krishna. Then you will have the reactions of the work. So Gita advises, or Krishna advises, that all activities, all work should be done for Jagya Purush. That means for the pleasure of Krishna or Vishnu. Then there will be no reactions of karma. Every action has its reaction, definitely. But if it is done for Krishna, or in other words, in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, we may say, if it is done for Jagya, Jagya Purush, Bhagavan Vishnu Krishna, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, then it has no reaction. As for example, it is given that if you put a seed in the earth, it must germinate. But if you fry the seed and put it in the earth, it will never germinate, because it has been fried. Similarly, every action has its reaction, definitely. So if that action or work is done for Krishna, or done in Krishna consciousness, or done for Jagya, Jagya Purush, Bhagavan Vishnu Krishna, then there will be no reaction of that karma. Gita advises this thing. The one who does so, one who does every work or all his activities in Krishna consciousness, he never gets the reactions of his work. That means he is renouncing the result of his work. Because work cannot be renounced. Nobody can give up work. Bhagavan Krishna has said it in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Beginning. You understand? Because Arjuna was going to renounce the work, give up his work, give up his fighting work as a Kshatriya. Krishna says you cannot do it. You cannot do it. Karmendriyani sanjamya jaste manusasmaram indriyarthan vimudatma mithyachara sauchyate. Krishna says this. If you will give up your karma, renounce your karma, posing outward to show off that you are a karma sannyasi, you have given up all work. Those who are karma sannyasis, Mahabadi sannyasis, they give up all work, they renounce all work, they never do any work. They sit in some Himalayan mountainous cave and just meditate, chant yogis, or do pranayam, hatha yoga sadhana, pranayam sadhana, puraka kumbhaka rechaka, like that. They are karma sannyasis. They have renounced work. No, we are karma sannyasis. We have no work at all. We never do any work. Krishna says this cannot be possible. Any embodied soul, any embodied person cannot do this thing, cannot give up work. One must work. One must work. That means both conditioned souls and liberated souls, conditioned or liberated, all should work. Conditioned souls work because prakriti kriyamanani guni karmani sarvasva ahankara vimudhatma karta ahiti manyate. Those are conditioned, those are under the grip of maya, grip of material nature. So they will automatically work, they will be forced to work because that material nature will force them to work. They cannot give up work. Prakriti kriyamana. Prakriti, the material nature will work. Ahankara vimudhatma karta iti manyate. Who is an ignorant fool who does not know this thing? He said, I do. No. It's Prakriti. It's material nature that does. You can. Soul never does anything. Prakriti does in case of material nature. But in the case of liberated souls, those who are not under the grip of material nature, they do or they act through superior nature. You understand? Superior nature acts. Anyhow, nature works. And those who are liberated souls or devotees, they know this thing. They will never give up work. They will never. They know their constitutional position, that they are eternally servants of Krishna. Jiver Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. They know it. They are eternally servants of Krishna. Krishna is their eternal master. And they should serve Krishna. Anukulyena Krishna Anusharanam. They should serve Krishna in a favorable way, in a pleasing way. Krishna will be pleased. They know it very well. And they are always engaged. Krishna's Akhila Chestitam, you see. For Krishna, they are working in different ways of philosophism. Always they are busy for the service of Krishna, engaged in the service of Krishna in different ways, how to render more and more service, and how to please Krishna more and more. Krishna's Akhila system, Krishna's Akhila system, they say, all this, different ways they are working. They never give up work. They give up the result of their work. They never do anything for their own pleasure, own material sense gratification, own pleasure. They do everything what is needed for the pleasure of Krishna. So they are the best renouncers. They renounce the result of their work. Krishna says this thing. In all Vedic literatures this has been said. In Nath Pancharath we say, Laukiki Vaidiki Papi Jatya Kyati Muni Harisevanukuleivo Sagatya Bhakti Nichata Yaharjasyo Harirdasya Karmana Manusha Gira Nikhidasu Yogasthasu Jivan Mukta Sauchya. Vedic activities prescribed in Vedas, or he may do Laukiki Kriya, that means some social activities when he is in the society, some social activities, Laukiki or Vaidiki, whatever he is doing, he does it in Krishna consciousness. Laukiki Vaidiki, Jatya Kriyate Mune, Hari Sevanu Kulega. He does everything in Krishna consciousness. You understand? So, Hari Sevanu Kulega, as a service rendered to Krishna. So, that is bhakti, sakarya bhakti nichata. So, work or activity done in Krishna consciousness for the pleasure of Krishna is bhakti. Is a service rendered to Krishna, that is bhakti. Sakarya bhakti nichata. Yaharjasya huridasya karmana manasa gira. Nikhidasu yogasthasu jivan mukta sauchyati. Such a Krishna conscious person who is Haridas, Haridasi, who is eternal servant of Hari, who is conscious of this thing, who is in constitutional position, who knows this. Whatever he does, karmana manasa gira. Whatever he does through his mind, through his physical body, or through speeches, kayo manobhakya, karmana manasa gira. Everything he does for the service of Krishna. Yaharasya haridasya karmana manasa nikhidasu yogasthasu jivan mukta sauchyati. So such a person is ever liberated in all circumstances of status of life. Because he will never be bound up. He will never have the reactions of his karma. Because whatever he is doing for Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. So, Nikhidasu Yavasthasu Jivan Mukta Sauchite, in all conditions of life, all stages of life, he is ever liberated. And such a person is a real renunciate, because he renounces the result of his karma. He never gives up karma. You understand? And this is the advice of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And through Arjuna, Krishna advises the whole human population, all human population of the world. All should act in Krishna consciousness. So they will never be bound up by the reactions of their karma. They will be liberated.
Authorities were asking us to sell Dharmi records. So I was wondering, do you actually get a reaction when you sell things like that to raise funds for the movement?
you see, if authorities, higher authorities, bona fide authorities, ask that we have to raise funds for Krishna's project, for Krishna. So, karmi people, they will purchase such things which they need. So we have to sell such things and get money from them. So that work we are doing under the order of the higher authorities, not we do it for ourselves, for Krishna's, not for our own sense gratification or all material benefit. So that work is done in Krishna consciousness. So there will be no reaction. No. If you do it for yourself, without the order of higher authorities, then reaction is there, must be there. But there is no reaction, because higher authorities ordered it, and we are under them. We must carry out their order, because they are there to engage us in Krishna's service. So in this way they want to engage us, and at the present moment it is needed to collect Lakshmi. Present moment it is needed. So we should anyhow collect Lakshmi. So, and those Lakshmi will collect it from the karmis. So we will sell such things which karmi need, they need, and get money. And this is the best thing to distribute books. Srila Prabhupada's books are Bhakti Shastra. But how many will take it? Those who are bhaktas, devotees, those who know it, they may take, and their number is very meager. We cannot get so much Lakshmi as expected. So, as per time, place and circumstances, to collect raise funds and more funds, so we must sell such things that karmis need, besides this distribution. And that should be done under the guidance of higher authorities, gurus, spiritual master, and done in Krishna consciousness. As Krishna ordered Arjuna kill. Killing is a forbidden act. But Krishna orders, Krishna wants Arjuna should kill, Arjuna should engage himself in this fighting work. You understand? Kill his own kith and kin relatives. That Krishna wants, and that will please Krishna. Then there will be no reaction. Similarly, it is needed for Krishna, for Krishna's project, that to raise funds. So higher authorities order us to do these things, and we do. And Krishna comes, so there will be no reaction. Yes. No, this is like Arjuna's killing. The same thing. No reaction. It's an information. It is an example, this is like example. What is needed? Because devotee loss for Krishna. It is needed now at present. So he may act as a Brahman, act as a Kshatriya, act as a Vaishya, act as a Shudra. Whatever. Yes.
Anishtam, Ishtam, Mishram.
Anishtam, Ishtam, Mishram. Trividha karmanam. Bhavati atyaginam kritya natu sannyasinam kochit. Krishna speaks here about tyagi and atyagi. So, tyagi means sannyasi and atyagi. Who is not sannyasi or who is not renounced. So, one who is not renounced, atyagi, he gets trividha phala. three types of the result of this activity. Ishto, Anisto, Mishra, isn't it? Ishto, Anisto, Mishra. In English what it says? Ishto, Anisto, Mishra. What it says in English? Mishra, mixed of the two. And Ishto, Anisto.
Leading to hell, Anistam leading to hell, Istam leading to heaven.
Acha. Anisto activity means that the result of such activity opens one's gate towards hell. That means sinful activities. And Ishto activities means auspicious activities, punya karma, the results of which elevates oneself to heavenly planets. That is Ishto. And third one is mixed, Misrita. It's mixed of the two, Anisto and Ishto. Yes, that's a fact. One who is a karmi, that means a fruitive actor, fruitive worker, one who desires to enjoy his result of his work, he gets these three results. Sometimes he does some auspicious activity, sometimes he does some inauspicious activities or sinful activities, sometimes mixed activities, both auspicious and inauspicious. A fruitive worker does so. A conditioned soul, generally a conditioned soul, is a fruitive actor who is under grip of Maya, or mental nature, who has forgotten his own true identification or confusion position, who has developed the bodily conception life of thinking body, the self, such a person. In his consideration, he thinks the body, the self, and what are needed for this body, for the enjoyment of the body, what are needed for the, what you say, what are favorable for this body. Generally, he does it. And his consideration is defective because he is a conditioned soul who has four defects. Brahma Pramada Vipulipsa Karuna Pata, who must commit mistake, who must come under the grip of Maya, who must, whose senses are defective, and who has this cheating attitude, mentality, who always tries to cheat others. These are the four defects of a conditioned soul. So whatever he thinks his mind is a mental mind, whatever thoughts, whatever considerations come in his mind are also defective, is not perfect. Because he always thinks in terms of his body, bodily relationships. He cannot think of in terms of the soul, or soul's eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, Krishna. He cannot think of this thing. So, all his thoughts are also defective. So, what he thinks, it will be favorable for me, it will be good for me, and I will get so much enjoyment thereby, or material benefit thereby. But in the long run, or consequently it comes out something different, beyond his expectation. Because Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Authority and Supreme Sanctioning Authority, ultimate sanctioning authority, Anumanta. Krishna said that thing in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Anumanta, Upadrashta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. He says, I am Anumanta, I am the sanctioning authority. Unless Krishna sanctions, nobody's desire will be fulfilled. It needs Krishna's sanction. In 18th chapter, the 16th chapter, it is also said by Krishna, there are 5 factors. There are 5 factors to execute some work, you understand, execute some plan also, little plan, whatever. Adhishthānam, tathakarta, karanamca, pruthagvidha, vividha chesta, daivang evatra punchumam. These 5 factors are there. First thing, adhishthānam, the field of activity. Then karta, the worker. Adhishthānam, tathakarta, karanamca, pruthagvidha. And different types of instruments through which one can work, act, one will work. This karana, different types, pruthagvidha, vividha chesta, and one may also try in different ways to execute his plan. And 5th one is providence. Daivang evatra punchama, providence, daiva, the supreme law. This 5th one, 5th factor, and that's the most important factor. Unless daiva, providence, doesn't sanction, in spite of all these 4 factors, good, nice factors, one's plan will not be executed. You understand? One may have very nice field of activity, nice field, and workers are very expert worker, and then nice instruments are also there through which the worker will work. Very modern instruments, scientific instruments, nice instruments. And also he is a very intelligent person who makes a thought in different ways how to do the work, execute his plan. Nice work. But in spite of all these, if the providence doesn't sanction, the Supreme Lord doesn't sanction, all his plans fail, projects fail. And that's the fact. Daiva hatartha racana rushayopi deva jasmat prasanga vimukha iha samsaranti. Srimad Bhagavatam also says the same thing. Daiva hatartha racana rushayopi deva jasmat prasanga vimukha iha samsaranti. Ahani aputartha korona nisi nishayana nana manartha diya Khanabhagna nidra Daiva hatartha racana rushayopi deva Jasmat prasanga vimukha iha samsaranti. Srimad Bhagavatam says, such workers, such spiritual workers, they toil very hard, like an ass, throughout the daytime. Throughout the whole daytime, they toil very hard, like an ass. Then, when the day ends and night comes, evening night comes, they retire from their activity, field of activity, and come to their homes or residence to take rest, to sleep. But they cannot sleep. Nisi Nisoyana. Nana Manurtadiya Kilabunita. The whole night, there's no sleep. If by chance some little sleep comes, still it breaks. It's not sound sleep. Such persons go to doctors for sleeping pills. How they can sleep? Still, that sleeping pills also fail. Such is the law. They cannot sleep because of their material thoughts. Their mind is burdened with such thoughts, such material thoughts. So they cannot sleep. Nisi Nishoyana. Nana Manurthadiya Kyanabhugin Vidra. Many thoughts are there, coming one after another. Mind is burdened with it. Rushayapi Daiva Hatartha Rachana Rushayapi Deva Jusmat Prasanga Vimukha Yosun Saranti. Daiva, the providence, breaks their whole plans and projects. Providence doesn't sanction their plans and projects. However, they are very materially expert persons, intelligent persons, whether material manipulation or material intelligence, they may sometime be elevated to some higher position in material sphere. Say they may go up to this heavenly planets. They may become a very thoughtful person, Muni, Ruhi, like that, maybe a demigod. Those who do some auspicious work, punya karma, they are also elevated to the heavenly planets and enjoy there. When that enjoyment is exhausted, then again, kine punyam apya lokum visanti. Gita has said that. Again, they fall down here, in this material world. So, Daiva Hatartha Rachana Rushayopi Deva Jusma Prasanga Vimukha Yosun Saranti. Srimad Bhagavatam says, if these people will never develop interest towards Krishna Katha, Jusma Prasanga Vimukha, O Lord, this is prayer of Brahmaji. Brahmaji says, O Lord, if these people will never develop interest towards your nectarian Katha, however great or elevated they may be, they fall down here. Material world. Daiva Hatartha Rachana, that is stated. Daiva, the providence, doesn't sanction, breaks all there, nullifies all their plans and projects. Not nine. Not nine. Do you understand? What is the... That is also stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavad Gita also says in this chapter, 18th chapter, Daivang eva prapunchava. The fifth factor is Daiva, providence. And Krishna says, I am Anumanta, I am the sanctioning authority. Krishna is the ultimate sanctioning authority, or supreme sanctioning authority. Unless Krishna sanctions, nobody's desire will be fulfilled. Nothing will be done. জীব বলে আমি করি তি সত্য নয়, তুমি না করিলে জীব কি করিতে পারে? আশা মাত্র জীব করি তবু ইচ্ছা ফলে। ভক্তিবিনোদ ঠাকুর মহাজন writes this thing. জীব, this conditioned soul, a builder soul, thinks that I do. জীব বলে আমি করি, but that's not true. That's not true. তুমি না করিলে জীব কি করিতে পারে? Oh Lord, if you won't sanction or do what a jiva can do, jiva is nisaktika. He has no sakti, no power. Krishna is very kind. He inculcates sakti, power into jiva, some potency into jiva. It is said, Baladeva's full power. Lord Baladev inculcates infuses some power, energy out of mercy. Baladev means, Bala means strength. You understand? He infuses some strength. Lord Baladev infuses some strength, inculcates some strength into Jiva. So Jiva acts. When Lord Baladev will withdraw that strength, you understand? Lord Baladev will withdraw that strength, so he is powerless. He cannot even lift a tiny blade of grass, you see, like paralysis patient. You understand? Paralysis patient even cannot lift his own hand, cannot move. You see, where is your strong strength? Where is your strength? Why can't you do this thing? Because Lord Brother has withdrawn his strength. You understand? So, where is your ego? Where is your pride? You were so puffed up, so proud, you so great ego you had. Where is it now? You understand? It's only providence, it's Krishna, the Lord's mercy. And these people don't know these things. These conditioned souls, builders, souls, the rascals, they don't know these things. So, their calculations, their considerations are all defective. So sometimes they think it is a very nice thing, very good work, noble work they do, but they commit sinful activity thereby. Because any activity, however noble it may be, if it is not done for the pleasure of Krishna or Yajna Purus, Yajna, then it becomes sinful activity. So he must suffer for it. He must get the reactions, sinful reactions. And sometimes he does some auspicious activity, punya karma, ishta, what is said, ishta, that will lead him to go to heavenly planets. Sometimes he does. And as a result, he gets that result also. And sometimes he does some sinful activity, anishta karma, thereby he goes to hell. Sometimes mixed karma, so there is mixed result also. He is not a tyagi, he is not a renunciate, he never renounces the result of his activity for Krishna, for Yajna Purus. So he suffers or gets such reactions. Whereas a tyagi, a renunciate, a sannyasi doesn't get such reactions. Because whatever he does for Yajna Purus or Krishna or Vishnu, for his pleasure. So he never gets, he never suffers, or he neither suffers nor gets any material enjoyment thereby, sukh dukha, happiness or distress thereby, because there is no reaction to his activity, to his work, because all his activities are done for Krishna, for Yajna Purus. Jagnartha karmanam natra lokayam karma bandhanam. In third chapter, Lord Gita has said, if karma, the activity will be done for Yajna Purus, or for the purpose of Yajna, then there will be no reaction. No reaction. Otherwise there will be reaction. As for example, the so-called people, leaders, patriotic persons, love their motherland. They become neta, leaders, Mahatma. They are also known as Mahatmas, great souls, Mahatmas in material society, like M.K. Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. So, calls people to sacrifice life for the motherland, for the motherland. He never calls people to sacrifice everything to life and activity for Supreme Lord. He never does so. You see, he became Mahatma. But Gita says, who is Mahatma? Who is real Mahatma? Mahatma knows to Krishna says, oh, Arjuna, you are Mahatma because you are the dear devotee of mine. Bhakta Sime, Priya Sime. In other words, he is a dear devotee of the Lord. He is Mahatma, real Mahatma. Krishna makes him greater than he. Do you understand? He is real Mahatma. But these people, material people, they think such patriotic persons, those who sacrifice everything and die for the country, motherland, they become Mahatma. This is the defective consideration of thoughts. They are never really tyagis, renunciation. Their tyag, their renunciation is in the mode of passion and ignorance, not in the even mode of this Shuddha Sattva, Shuddha Sattva, as it has been said here in this verse of Gita. Do you understand? Those are real tyagis, real renunciates. Those who sacrifice everything for Krishna, for the Supreme Lord. They are real renunciates, tyagis, sannyasi. They never suffer, neither suffer for the reactions of their activity, nor get any material enjoyment. Neither happiness nor distress. Shuddha. Whatever they get transcendental pleasure, not material pleasure. Transcendental, divya, ananda, which cannot be thought of by these people. And this is Krishna's conclusion. He is the real renunciation. That is Krishna says, Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nivodhami. There are 5 factors for the accomplishment of some work, success of the work. Adhishtanam tatha kartang karanam cha prathavidha vividha chestaha daivang evatra panchamam. These are 5 factors. First thing, adhishtanam. What do you say, adhishtanam?
Adhishtanam is
Place of work, field of activity. Adhishtanam tatha karta, the worker, the performer. Then karanam cha prathavidha, the different instruments of senses here through which one works. Then vividha chesta, different types of endeavors one makes. Then fifth one is daiva, the super soul of providence, we say. Pancharam, fifth one is most important thing. And these are the 5 factors. And this is stated in Vedanta. It says, and all acharyas have accepted it. This is the conclusions of Veda. Vedanta is the last part of Veda. Is stock of knowledge stated. Gyan Purshan. All acharyas, even Shankaracharya also have accepted it. So, Bhagavan Krishna says this thing. Because Krishna is the source of all Vedas. Krishna is the source of all Vedas. And this Bhagavad Gita is also an Upanishad, Gita Upanishad. Upanishads are for most portion of the Vedas, the Upanishads. And this is known as Gita Upanishad, Gita, which has come out from the lips of the mouth of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the most important thing. So here you will find in Bhagavad Gita all the essence of Vedas and Upanishads. And fifth factor, Daivam or super soul, providence, is the most important factor. That is stated. Sarvasatang Hrudi Sanyusta. Ishvara Sarvabhutanang Hridya Arjuna. Repeatedly, Krishna has said this thing in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna as the super soul is there in the heart of every living entity. Hmm. So super soul is directing. Under the direction of the super soul, everybody works. This is a very important question. If someone can know well or clearly what is the direction of the super soul, and if conditioned souls cannot. Conditioned souls hear the prompting of Maya. They cannot hear the prompting of super soul. No. They hear the prompting of Maya. And mistakenly, or out of mistake, they think that this is the prompting of super soul. But that's not correct. That's not correct. Those who are captured by Maya, illusory energy, they are under the grip of Maya. And Maya is directing. Prakrute kriyamanani, elsewhere it has been said, guni karmani sarvasa, ahankara vimunatma, kartahiti manyati. Gita has said this thing. Prakriti, the mental nature, is acting. You are under the grip of mental nature, Maya. So mental nature is acting. But one who is a fool, ahankara vimuratma, was developed with great false ego. He says, I am doing. No, you are not doing. Prakriti kriyamanani. Mental nature is acting. A foolish rascal says so. Was a great false ego. You understand? That has been said. It is for conditioned souls. But those are liberated souls. They are fully under the control of superior nature or super soul. They can hear the prompting of super soul and they are directed. Under the direction of super soul, they are acting. They are acting. Not conditioned souls. And those who are conditioned souls, super soul or the Supreme Lord has told Maya to take charge of them. Because they have forgotten Krishna and they have chosen Maya by misusing or abusing their minute independence. They have chosen Maya instead of choosing Krishna. Two things are there. Krishna is there and Maya is there. And Jiva is marginal entity. Tatastha, marginal. That means in between these two. Superior and inferior. Krishna and Maya. In between two is Jiva. So, there is the thought of these two things in Jiva. Inferior energy and superior energy. Two things are in thought in Jiva. And Jiva has minute independence. Krishna has granted this independence to him out of mercy. Karunayadatam, it is stated. Karunayadatam. Out of mercy, Krishna has granted this independence to Jiva. One question may arise. Some also raise this question. Why? Why does Supreme Lord give this independence? If he would not have given, then that would have been all right. So if he has given this minute independence, then question arises of the abuse and proper use. Proper use of independence, abuse of independence. If there would have been no independence, then no question. But one question is there, most important. If there would have been no independence, then Jiva cannot be called Jiva. You understand? Jiva cannot be called Jiva. Then what it will be? Nirjiva, inanimate object. This is an inanimate object. It has no independence, has it? There is no independence. You understand? The inanimate object has no independence. Nirjiva vastu. Who is not living entity, is not jiva, is an inanimate object. Nirjiva. He has no independence. You understand? This thing cannot go from this place to that place. No, he has no independence. But a jiva has this independence. If he wants, he can go from this place to that place. Because he has independence. And this is the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, jiva is called jiva, because he has independence. If you would have no independence, he cannot be called jiva. It will need jiva, inanimate object. So karuna yadattam. So this is the mercy, causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord, that he has granted this independence to jivas. You understand? So, but question is there. It has two things. One may properly use it, or one may abuse it. This is the two things. Independence may be properly used, utilized, it has proper use, and it has abuse. You understand? Two things are there. And that independence has been granted. You may act as you want. You have independence. You may act as you want. You understand? But what is the proper use and what is the abuse? That one can understand. What is the proper use and what is the abuse? You understand? Proper use means to take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Sarvadharman pritijya mamikam saranam braja. That's the last advice, concluding advice of Krishna. Take shelter of me. Completely surrender yourself unto me. That is proper use of your independence. You understand? That's proper use. You understand? Then you will, under full control of Krishna, or superior energy. You understand? One who completely surrenders unto Krishna, he is under full control of Krishna, superior energy. One who does not, one who never surrenders, doesn't surrender, he can do so. He has independence. No, I won't surrender. And Krishna has granted that thing. So, other thing is there. Maya is there. You must be captured by Maya. Krishna has given you this chance, this independence. Choose whatever you want. You may choose Krishna or you may choose Maya. Two things are there. You are in the middle. Marginal potency. You are in the middle. And you have choice now. What you want? You want Krishna or Maya? Choose. And you have independence. No forcing. You understand? No forcing. So those who are unintelligent persons, rascals, they choose Maya. They misuse, they abuse their minute independence. You understand? Those are intelligent persons, they choose Krishna. They properly utilize their independence. They made the proper use. You understand? They are intelligent persons. So they are fully under the control of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, superior energy. They can understand what super soul in the heart prompts. And super soul directs them. And they act under the direction of super soul. Daivam eva prapancham. You understand? So they never get the reactions of their action. Because they are engaged in yogya karma in other words. Jagyarthat karmana natra lokayam karma bandhana, it has been said. If your work or activity will be done for yogya, Purus, Bhagavan Vishnu or Krishna, then there will be no reaction. And that is the direction of the super soul. And those who are liberated souls, they act in this way. And what is the direction of super soul? That is confirmed through Shastra and Sadhu. Through Shastra and Sadhu. That should be confirmed. The Sadhu or Guru will say the same thing, the Shastra will say the same thing. Then that is confirmed and the person, the super soul can understand, yes, this is the prompting of super soul, and he acts. And he never gets the reaction of his karma. He is free from reaction. But those who are conditioned souls, they are under the grip of Maya because they have chosen Maya by abusing their mind into independence. They have committed an offense thereby because they abused their minute independence. That is their offense. One who commits offense is to be punished because he is an offender. He has committed offense, committed blunder, committed mistake. He should be punished, isn't it? So this is punishment. What is? That he comes under the grip of Maya and he is imprisoned by Maya and he is put in this jail, prison house created by Maya, this material world. You understand? And he suffers from this Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. These 4 types of miseries. You understand? Birth, death, old age and disease. Life after life, one after another. He suffers. You understand? Because he has committed blunder. He has committed offense. Bahirmukhya doshe danda pratikar. It is said, Bahirmukhya doshe danda pratikar. So danda, punishment is there. Because you have abused your independence. That's your mistake. That's your offense. Abused. You have made a wrong choice. You have made a wrong choice. You have chosen Maya by abusing your mind into independence. That's your offense. So you should be punished. You understand? You should be punished. So conditioned souls are punished. Conditioned souls are in this prison house, in this material world, is a prison house created by Maya. And they cannot hear the prompting of super soul. They cannot be directed by the super soul. And super soul has heard Maya. Take charge of this. And you engage them. And they are engaged by Maya. And they are hearing the promptings of Maya. And mistakenly they think that this is prompting of super soul. No, but that's not prompting of super soul. You understand? Only a liberated soul can hear the promptings. And those promptings, what super soul says, is confirmed through sadhu and shastra. This is the confirmation. So he will act accordingly. So there will be no reactions. Daivam eva prapan. 5th factor is Daivam, super soul of providence. That is, unless he sanctions. Anumanta, you see, is the ultimate sanctioning authority. The super soul of providence of the Supreme Lord is the ultimate sanctioning authority. Unless he sanctions, your plan and projects will not be successful. Your work will not be accomplished well. You understand? So his sanction is the ultimate sanction. And one who is super soul, one who acts under the direction of super soul, he gets the sanction of super soul. A conditioned soul cannot get the sanction of super soul. That's another question is there. You understand? Now Krishna says this thing. These are 5 factors. These are 5 factors for the accomplishment of your work. To get a successful work. And one should know it. You understand? Rusikena Rusikesa Sevanam Bhakti Uchyati. You see? Rusika means the senses. Senses are the instruments or means of work. And when one completely surrenders unto Krishna, then his senses are under control of Rishikesh, Krishna. You understand? So his senses will be properly utilized. তুমি ঋষিকেশ ঋষিক দমিয়া তারও সংস্কৃতি করে Bhaktivinoda Thakur song in his Gopinath song. তুমি ঋষিকেশ ঋষিক দমিয়া তারও সংস্কৃতি করে. Oh Lord, you are Hrishikesh. You are the master of the senses. Please take charge of my senses, my mind and senses. Mind is the chief of the senses. I have heard. হারো যে মানেছি আমি. Oh Lord, I admit my failure, my defeat. I have failed to control this mind, weakened mind and senses. I have failed. I cannot control. You are Hrishikesh, oh Lord, you are Hrishikesh. You are the master of the senses. Please take charge of my senses. You understand? So when one will surrender, then Hrishikesh, Krishna will take charge. Krishna will take charge of the senses. So the senses will be properly utilized in the service of Krishna. That becomes bhakti. Hrishikena Hrishikesha sevanam bhakti uchyate. That is also the same thing is here also. Is understood here.
When we're doing our service, sometimes there's a tendency to rush. I don't know about in India, but I know in the West there's a tendency to we have to do very quickly. Sometimes it's left until a little late. And then we have to rush. Sometimes the work is left until a late date. And the time is very late, and then suddenly we have to rush very hard. Now, I was wondering, sometimes people say that it's better to be very slow and meditative and do the work very nicely. So, is it better to be... I heard two opinions. One was that we should do very quickly, our work very quickly, and another conclusion was that we should do our work slowly but very nicely. So what is better? Is it better to do very quickly, or is it...
You see, quickly or slowly, it depends upon a person. Varies from person to person. Some may act very quickly and nicely also, and some may act slowly. You understand? But one thing is there. Slow and steady wins the race. We have this thing. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow but steady is most important. Steady, fixed. Let it be slow, but should be done nicely. Don't act quickly and haphazardly. No, that's not good. You understand? And Krishna's work should be very nice. As my Guru Maharaj says, Krishna's books should be printed nicely, nice covers, nice papers, nice illustrations, everything nice. As Krishna is attractive, book will be attractive. Like that. Why say it like this? Because Krishna. Krishna is all attractive. And his book should be like that. You understand? And that's a nice illustration has been given here. You see, this is Maya. And this is Krishna here. And the representative of Krishna, Gurudev is here. And he's telling, directing the jiva towards Krishna. And Maya is there, so beautifully decorated, ornamented with a flower girl. Come on, come on. Such thing I have for you. Come to me, come to me. The builder so looks sometimes to Krishna to the instruction of Guru, then Maya like this. And sometimes he misuses. Oh, Maya is so nice, I'll go there. This illustration is so nice illustration, you see. His Gurudev is here, and Maya is here, and Jiva is in between, you see. Maya is enchanting. Come up, come up. flower garland, so nice. Good at directing for Krishna. And Jiva also. Like this. Nice illustration, you see. So nice illustration. And that is intelligent, he must instruct. He must listen to the instruction of Guru, who is the representative of Super Soul. Is Guru. And this ignorant fool who will misuse his independence, relax and Maya. Oh, Maya is so nice, very calming. Come on, come on. Like that.
Another question. Sometimes with a very big project, we become very caught up in the plan making. Thinking, oh, sometimes I know myself in Japa period, I'm thinking, oh, if we did like this, it would be very nice. And so all the time in Japa, I'm thinking all these good ideas are coming. And I don't want the good ideas to stop, but then I'm thinking, but I'm not thinking of Krishna. So it's very difficult to...
Yeah, so confirmation. Sadhu Shastra Guru. You ask Guru, Sadhu Guru, consult Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, just think up and open and read what Super Soul says. That Super Soul saying. And that answer will get there, you'll get there. For confirmation, ask the Sadhu and Guru. Then we accept.
I'm thinking more of the things that come into mind are things of how to fix this window or how to... things that aren't necessarily Krishna at all, but although they're related in service. So I presume it's better to just chant Hare Krishna and concentrate on Krishna.
Yeah. Better to chant Hare Krishna. And in doubt, in that dilemma, Sadhu Shastra Guru consult.
One more thing is, when we're working, sometimes I'm thinking that it's nice to pray to Krishna, but sometimes I've read that we should, first of all, we should offer very nice prayers to Krishna.
Pray.
Yes.
Prayer.
Yes, first we should offer very nice
Prayer.
praises. And then after the praises, then we can say to Krishna, well, please give me the desire to engage in your service. So can we informally, sometimes in our work, we suddenly may think of something that is lacking in ourselves?
This chanting of Hare Krishna means that we are offering prayer. You understand? Oh, Hare, Srimati Radharani, her condition is so. Oh, Krishna or Ram, please engage me in your service. That prayer is there. The chanting Hare Krishna. Yes. Only prayer.
So we can just, if we see some lacking in ourselves, we can just straight away pray to Krishna to please help me. We don't necessarily have to offer nice prayers first.
No, please help me, that's all right.
Yeah.
And Krishna will help you through Sadhu Shastra Guru. Yes. That's our process.
Translation. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Purport. The words right and wrong are very significant in this verse. Right work is work done in terms of the prescribed directions in the scriptures, and wrong work is work done against the principles of the scriptural injunctions. But whatever is done requires these 5 factors for its complete performance. Translation again.
Previous verse says, there are these 5 factors for the execution of some karma. You understand? Place, adhisthana, karta, worker, karanam saputobidha, different senses through which work is done. Vividha chesta, different types of thoughts, and 5th factor is Daiva, the super soul, supreme lord of providence. These 5 factors. You understand? So here, this verse says, what is that verse? Najyumba viparitam. Bang manobuddhi. karma harvatenava.
Najyam va viparitam va panchetu.
Yes. Any work, whether it is Najya or viparita, what is in English, correct or incorrect, what says?
What's the word?
Translation.
Or the translation? Whatever right or wrong action.
Right or wrong, yes. Whatever action, whether it is right or wrong action, these five are the factors. You understand? But what is wrong, what is right? That is most important thing. One should understand. That is right work or action prescribed in Shastras. And that's wrong, not prescribed in Shastras. It is stated. But one thing is there. Previously, Krishna said, all work to be done unto Yajna. Yajnarthat karmananyato lokayam karma bandhana. He has said that thing. All work, all action should be done for sacrifice, Yajna. Yajna Purush, the enjoyer of Yajna is Bhagavan Vishnu or Krishna. So all work should be done for the satisfaction of Bhagavan Vishnu or Krishna. So that is Yajna Karma. Otherwise, if that work is not for Yajna or Yajnartha, then one must be bound up with the reaction of karma, karma bandhana. Every action has its reaction, it's definite. But question is that how there will be no reaction to karma? Work should be performed, work will be performed. It is not a fact that work will not be performed. All should perform work. Nobody can stay without work. You understand? Must perform work. And Krishna said that thing emphatically in Bhagavad Gita, as Arjuna was first unwilling to fight. Rather he was saying that he will become karma sannyasi, retire, go to forest and do no work at all. Just sit and meditate like that. But Krishna says that it cannot be done, it's impossible thing. One must work. Independent, I mean, conditioned soul or liberated soul, whatever one may be. Especially this instruction is given for conditioned souls. And Krishna says, Prakriti tu nijokhyati. What do you say? You want to work? You will give up work? No, you can't. Prakriti tu nijokhyati. That means material nature will force you, will compel you to work. Prakriti kriyamani guni karmani sarvasva. Ahankara vigunaatma karta mahiti manyate. It is also said. Krishna said this thing. Prakriti kriyamani guni karmani sarvasva. Conditioned souls, those who are under grip of material nature, the material nature is working through them. And one who is an ignorant fool and whose ego is very great says that I do. Says I do. Prakriti kriyamanani gunika ahankara guna kartang iti manyate. He says I am the doer, I am the worker, I do. But that's not correct. Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also said that thing. জীব বলে আমি করি তাই সত্য নয়। জীব কি করতে পারে তুমি না করিলে? আশা মাত্র জীব করে তব ইচ্ছা ফলে। জীব, the bewildered living entity, a conditioned soul, says I do, but that's not true. That's not true. জীব বলে আমি করি সত্য। তুমি না করলে জীব কি করিতে পারে? Oh Lord, if you want to, what Jiva can do? Jiva is nisaktika. Krishna is Shaktiman, Sarva Shaktiman. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is, what do you say, all powerful, is omnipotent. You understand? All powerful. But Jiva has no power. Out of mercy, Krishna has inculcated some potency or power into Jiva. Therefore, Jiva acts. You understand? And we are also discussing this day, today, in Srimad Bhagavatam. In all body, 84 lakhs of bodies are there, different bodies. And Krishna's Paramatma form is there in every body. Sarvasya chang Sudhisannivishta Matta Smriti Jnana Apahanam cha. Bhagavad Gita Krishna said, I am there as super soul in every body, living entity body, embodied. Soul, you see. With soul, super soul is always there. And the super soul is prompting. Super soul is prompting. And also infusing, inculcating some energy. So Jiva acts. It is also said, Baladev, Lord Baladev gives Krupabala, the merciful strength. Lord Baladev infuses merciful strength unto Jiva. Therefore, Jiva acts. When Lord Baladev will withdraw that strength, then Jiva cannot do anything. Even he cannot lift a tiny blade of grass. He is powerless. He cannot even lift his hand, you see. As for example, you might have seen paralysis patient. They can move their limbs also, because the strength is strong. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, তুমি না করিলে কি করতে পারে জীব? জীব কি করতে পারে তুমি না করলে? আশা মাত্র জীব করে তবু ইচ্ছা করে। Oh Lord, if you want to, what Jiva can do? Jiva cannot. Man supposes, God disposes. This was saying is that. আশা মাত্র জীব করে তবু ইচ্ছা বলে। Only a Jiva can cherish some desire. But unless you sanction, that desire will not be fulfilled. Asa matra jiva kore to ichha bole. So man supposes, God disposes. The Supreme Lord is important factor. Daivang evatra panchama, he says. Daivang evatra panchama. Fifth factor is Daiva. Supreme Lord or providence. If in that providence or Supreme Lord will not sanction, Jiva cannot do anything, or any desire cannot be fulfilled. That's a fact. Our question is here, like, what is the right action and what is the wrong action? What is prescribed in the Shastra and what is not prescribed in the Shastra? So, previously said karma, akarma and vikarma. Three types of. Karma means fruitive work, sagam karma. And vikarma means prohibited work. That's prohibited in Shastra. That's vikarma. Akarma means yogya karma. Karma that is done for yogya Purush, Bhagavan Vishnu, Krishna. That's known akarma. It's karma tattva. It has been said in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said that in previous in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Perhaps it is said there. So, one should understand it. So, here said, Najyamba viparitam. You understand? Is right or wrong work. Isn't it? Correct or incorrect? What is it?
Yes, it's right or wrong.
Right
action.
or wrong work. Isn't whatever now. What is the right work and what is the wrong work? Right work is that is prescribed in Shastras. And wrong work is that is not prescribed in Shastra. That means prohibited work, karma. You understand? Sinful activities like this. But subtle tattva is there in karma tattva, karma mimamsa. As for example, in Vedas, it says prescribed in Shastra. Shastra means Vedic literature, or Veda. In Vedas, many things have been said. Many things have been said. You understand? Different divisions of Vedas are also there. Karma Kanda division, Jnana Kanda division, Upasana Kanda division, and Veda, Vedanta, Upanishad, Samhita, like that, Aranya, Brahmana, so many, Sukta, Mantra portion, so many divisions are there in Vedas. You understand? So many divisions, subdivisions, like that. Veda is a vast thing. Vast thing. And especially in the part of the person of Kali Yuga, human beings, man of Kali Yuga, it's not possible at all to read Vedas and understand its tattva, conclusions, siddhanta. It's impossible. Sir, therefore, Srila Vyasdev, who is the compiler of Vedas, or Vedic scriptures, he gave the essence. Essence is Srimad Bhagavad Gita here now. The essence of all Veda, Gita Upanishad, comes out from the lips of Krishna, who is the source of Vedas, the supreme authority. If someone can understand Gita, only 700 verses, shlokas there in Bhagavad Gita, only 700 verses. But in each verse, very deep purport is there, because it contains the whole Veda. And it is said in nutshell, in precise manner. You understand? And that thing is said in some detail, more detailed in Srimad Bhagavatam. What is said in Gita, same thing has been said in Srimad Bhagavatam in more detailed order, you understand, way. And Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses. You understand? Same thing. And this Gita and Bhagavad are the essence of all Vedas. Just these two scriptures, sufficient for Kali Yuga people to know what is there in Vedas. You understand? The essence of all. No need of going some half Veda, go through it. Impossible. You understand? Many Vedic Pandits are there, scholars are there. They are very proficient in Vedas, like that Mayabhavis. We are speaking of Sarvam Bhattacharya, Prakashananda Saraswati, Mahaprabhu's days. They are great learned scholars, you see, very learned Vedic scholars, very expert. But they don't know the real purport. You understand? They interpret in their own way. And their interpretation is very, very scholarly, quantitative. But they don't know the real purport. Therefore, what is the real thing? What is correct means here say something correct, right or wrong. What is real right? The Veda says so many different things. So Pandits differs. Pandits differs also. Some Pandit will speak, no, Veda has said like this. Interprets in this way. Another Pandit will say, comments, no. It has been said like this. So many different opinions will come up and it's coming out also. That's it. Many Pandits are there, many philosophers are there. many philosophies are there. But Veda says one thing. Sarvecha Vedai Angeva Vidya. Krishna says, Sarvecha Vedai Angeva Vidya. In all the Vedas, I am to be known. So one who can know Krishna or understand Krishna, it is to be considered that he knows Veda. He knows Veda. But one who may claim that he knows Veda, very proficient in Veda, Vedic knowledge, but he doesn't know Krishna. So-called Vedic Pandits are there, like Arya Samaji. You understand? They claim, they boast that they are proficient in Veda. We know Veda. You understand? But they don't know the real essence, real purport of Veda. They say there is no mention of Krishna in Veda. They say, Swami, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? No. They say like that. Then Krishna says, Sarvecha Vedya Anga Vidya. Krishna is the source of Veda. Veda comes from the breathing of Krishna. Then, who is the real authority of Veda? Who is the real source of Veda? He says, Sarvecha Vedya Anga Vidya. In all Vedas, I am to be known, but these so-called Vedic Pandits, they say, no Krishna in Veda. Then, Swami, where is mentioned Krishna? You see? Then what is that? These are so foolish. They cannot understand how Krishna is there. So their so-called Vedic knowledge has no value. No value. One important thing is there, as the Srimad Bhagavatam says, Dharma Satya Daya Peta Vidya Va Tapasyanita Madhutya Peta Matman Nat Samyak Natihi. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Dharma, religiosity, Satya, truthfulness, Daya, mercifulness, Vidya, Vedic study, Vedic knowledge, Dharma Satya Daya, Vidya, Tapasya, penance or austerity. You see, these are very good things. Nice. But Nad bhaktya petam atman nad samyak punatihi. But without bhakti, all these things valueless. Value is zero. You understand? If there is no bhakti, but all these things are there, it has no value. If bhakti is there, then the value of all these different items increases. Then, like example is given, you are just adding the zeros. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. The result is 0. 0 into 0, 0 into 0, 0 into 0. The result is 0. Then, what is the value of adding so many zeros or multiplying so many zeros? The result is 0. You just put 1. Left hand side of 0. Then 0 becomes tenfold, tenfold, tenfold. 1 with 1 0 is 10. With 2 zeros, 100. 3 zeros, 1000. Like this. 1 0, tenfold, tenfold, tenfold. 1 is important. If there is no 1, then it is 0. Similarly, if there is no bhakti, so dharma, satya, daya, vidya, tapasya, 0. No value. Bhakti is most important. Bhakti is like 1. You understand? Similarly, the work prescribed in Vedic literatures is natural, is right, it is said. But one must understand what is the real prescription, what is the real purpose. What Veda says so many things. You understand? So many different Vedic Pandits will come and they speak in different ways. Then a layman, an ordinary person will be bewildered. Oh, that Pandit says like this Pandit says like this Pandit, Vedic Pandit says, so what shall I do? I am bewildered. Do you understand? As for example, if Subudhiraj, you see, Subudhiray's case in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You know that? Subudhiraya. You know? What are you? What Vaishnava you are? Subudhiraya, you see, in Chaitanya Charitamrita mentioned, became Mohammedan. He was Hindu. He became Mohammedan. So, um, so he thought of all right, I have committed some sin now. You understand? I became Mohammedan. Mm. So he went to Kashi. There are many Vedic Pandits. So ask them, I have become Mohammedan, eating from Mohammedan, drinking water from Mohammedan like that. So I have committed some sin. So please instruct me what Vedic scripture says, what pena, what do you say? Prashchit? Huh? Atonement, yes. What sort of atonement I shall perform to God or perform? Prashchit, do you understand? So Pandits in Kashi, they are famous Pandits. As in Mahaprabhu's time, the Prakashananda Saraswati was very famous Vedic Pandit. You understand? So such Pandits, they consulted their Vedic scripture. They say, oh, this is a great sin you have committed. So